Okay. It says I'm back live. I don't know if you guys were able to follow and get with it. Unfortunately, I really didn't expect to be that quick to freezing. I must admit. I said I wasn't gonna go any further, but because you're all there, I thought I'd try and see if you can catch me. The next time around, I've done for work to be quick as I can to get back, because I really wanted to get this reading up because it's very interesting. It really doesn't have too much, what would you call it, joy in it. I left off at the moon. But even as we heading into the late teens, it's like there's still surprises, people looking, trying to think, because we have after the moon, the Page of Cups, which is always a surprise. In other words, we can expect everything, but even then, what ends up happening is we try to go inside to sort out the problems. And to me, the feeling in this is the more we try to sort out one, five more appear. It just feels like a big ball of one thing after the other happening. Now, there's a little bit of a relief as we get into the 20s of the month. And we get that with judgment. One thing I love about this symbol is the acceptance of the universal force. Acceptance of where everything is, how it's working, and what is happening. And within that, again, as we're coming towards the end of the month, uncertainty. Trying to figure out, there's like, which do we, it's almost like instead of 5 fingers sticking up, they've got 10 fingers. And then we got 20 fingers. In other words, there seems to be more and more things that have to get resolved. And so there's a sense of being overwhelmed, trying to defend, trying to make it right, trying to get it perfect. And then as we come towards the end of the month, the Fool is always going forward with faith. So obviously here, someone says, okay, this is what we're going to do, and won't listen to anybody else because the little dog down here, he's away. He's talking away. Yep, 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 yep. And no, the person isn't listening. It says, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going, and where are you heading? So bottom line is, this is not going to be an easy month listening to the world. Well, I do this actually for North America. But the world is not even, it's like we're all in the same pot. We're all in the same thing that's going on. And the resolutions to things are not there because it's just, it's a tough reading, to be honest, because it doesn't flow. And when you read, you like to flow, but this one is very jagged. And it's like, we want to do it my way, or we're not going to do it. We wanted to go forward, but we're not going to go forward. We want this, we want that. And unfortunately, nothing seems to really come in the direction. So we start off with the 7 of Swords, looking back, but we've got all these problems. The next was the Hangman, which is where we're trying to resolve and figure acceptance of things that are not working. And we know things aren't working. Doesn't take anybody to be able to know that there are many parts of the world right now where things are not working. That follows by the 3 of Pentacles, which is someone trying to work away here, having instructions. In other words, there's always the person behind telling you what you should do. If you're the workman, if you're just out there doing whatever, someone is always telling you what to do. This is the plan. They have a plan, and someone's executing the plan. But again, always one of the things I like in the symbol is the dark background. When it's dark, there's no vision. It's there. It's nighttime. And that leads into, I should explain these a bit more, the moon, which is emotions, in a way, very out of control to a degree, not in the right perspective. And so consequently, this whole first row, which leads us way into the teens, surprise after surprise after surprise. So nothing gets resolved in this first we'll say at least to the nearly the 20th of the month. Nothing is resolved. And even though this is done for North America, I truly believe it's world. It's like it's bigger. Then comes, as we move into the 20s, trying to find resolutions. That's going, the Four of Swords is always going inside to figure it out. And in figuring it out, by about the 25th, I would say, there is some decisions made, some acceptance. Well, this is how it is. And that may be the leaders, that may be the people who, bring down and say, this is how it is. But it still ends up in fighting. It still ends up with one group not agreeing. So it's a lot of fighting, whether it's infighting or we're all in the world know one or the other that it's happening. So in that last 20s, we're heading into that 31st. Good old August always has 31 days. The Fool. Moving ahead no matter what anyone says. See that little doggy there yapping away? When you set your mind to do a certain thing and you go ahead and you go to do it, no matter what happens, they're not going to listen. You're just going to get really steer them home. When I put this out this morning, I usually kind of take a cursory look and see. And I went, I don't know if I want to look at this. Because there's nothing here that gives me a sense of solace. Like, it'll be sorted out. The people in control will take control and it'll be all okay. People who are going to try for control, not going to make that much difference. It's very fractured. And yet there's some very big principles in here. Higher Arcana cards always means very clean. The Hanged Man, which is almost where we are actually in the thing. Hanged Man, acceptance of reversals. Acceptance of things you cannot change. Things have happened. We know that. If you listen to any news at all, we know worldwide. They know this is for North America. This is the world. And then within two cards, we've got the Moon, which is the most emotional one, showing that the emotions are really not understood. They're out of control. So we've got all this emotion still going on, even though we try that. And then we come further down, close to the end of the 20s. Judgment is the acceptance of, this is pure acceptance. Usually meaning a spiritual acceptance. So maybe we'll have a manifestation in the sky and everyone will go, wow, look at that. But basically it means coming to terms with what is. This is the reality. So we accept that reality. And then finally, the final symbol for August is the Fool. This always says to me, you complete everything with faith. Still not listening to the basics. Somebody's saying, okay, this is the way it is. And not really listening to the rebel, which most of us are considered, just out there being whatever. But there's a lot here when I look at this. So I'm very interested to see what happens as we leave August and move into September. Because I hope not to see a reading like this in September, honestly. So it's about just taking a big breath and realizing you might hear a lot of things you don't really want to hear or see if you're watching news or etc. in the bigger picture. But you're going to have to hold on to this. That somewhere in there is a faith. Having faith often comes when it's not easy, when things don't flow really well. So it's about really recognize the acceptance. When I look at these higher arcana cards, again, two major symbols that talk about acceptance. This is the first one. If you hang upside down, you accepting what's going on. This one is accepting the higher power. So whoever's in control, look at what they're doing there, which will result in the Fool, which means they're going to do what they want to do. The major concerns is this one. It's the emotions out of control. But very often when that happens, you believe that you've got the answer. You believe that whatever you're wanting to do is correct. But you've got nothing here to support that. You've got one little court card. Court cards are your attitudes. And that kind of is just like, oh, look at that. Look at that. That isn't that interesting. But there isn't anything to back up what's happening with that. And the major things, it's not major. But when we look at the basic symbols that pull it all together, we have two of the sword symbologies, which are problems. And not, even though one is trying to resolve, it's not being resolved. We have one wands where, again, to me, it's dissension. It's like everybody says, let's do this. One person says, let's do this. And everyone says, no, we're not doing that. So again, it's very, very jumbled. And then the pentacles, nothing gets resolved. In this one, it's like, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. But I don't see resolution in this, actually. So usually I have something like, oh yeah, look at what's happening. This is really working. And it isn't, and this time it's not like that. So I am really looking forward to September's reading for sure. And so I can see what's come out of this month. Obviously, something's coming out. One person or two people, three people, leaders take control. But to me, no one was listening to them. So that everybody, it's kind of like, ever been in a family squabble? I was lucky. I didn't really have too much of that, but I've seen them where one person says this and another person says that, and then a third person comes along and it's different again. I think that's what we're facing here. And it's like not to get too caught up with what's what. But when we have faith, when we have awareness that we do offer our thoughts, our love, our perceptions out there, the amazing thing happens is that miracles happen. This is a flash picture of what's going on right now. 6 days late, I understand. But I don't think it would have made any difference if I'd done it when the first last Wednesday. Sometimes lose track of time a little bit. I know it's up to you. And I'm just so happy I actually went 13 minutes without freezing. And I said I was just going to do this. I'm not going to go in because I will be back for a short time. And I'm really thinking seriously of doing shorts. I've done everything this morning so we wouldn't freeze. No kidding. I did. I made sure all things were cleared out. No, we froze anyway. And people have sent me stuff and I've read it and looked at it and done what I could do. I'm just moving my keyboard back here. I just want to say thank you very much, Karen. And I thought I saw Yvonne's name click in there too. And this morning, she was there beginning anyway, for sure. I just want to thank you for your support. I really do. I appreciate it. Oh dear, I tell you, I was pretty wrecked last week, but I'm getting better. That's the only thing I can say. So I was disappointed, but now I'm feeling like, okay, keep going, figure this out. I think I have my Zoom thing sorted out. If you overheard last Sundays, I was like distressed. It was like Zoom had gone. This one was freezing all the time. And it was like, and I just had this new hard drive put in and it just seemed to be creating more problems than it was worth. But that's life. That's life. Life is not always going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's usually scrambled around. And I had that week last week. And so now I'm on to the next week because my week seems to start Monday. Yes, it does start at Monday, but we go on and on, don't we? Thank you again for watching. Thank you for your for your help, for your support, for your love that comes in the waves to me. And I will be back Sunday. Short and sweet for sure. I will be back. I'm even sitting here thinking maybe I should just do shorts. Maybe, though it froze really fast today, which is funny because I cleared so much from the computer, because that's part of the problem, they told me, is that when I've got to clear, and I did that. I spent time doing that. So I don't know what I missed. Anyway, Karen, you're a godsend. Bless you. And I'll see you next time around. And just catch up with whatever's out there. Appreciate it. Bye now.